All right, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is gonna be She-Hulk episode 8. I'm kind of late to the She-Hulk thing. I've been watching the episodes. I just haven't made videos about any of them. But I couldn't ignore this one. I had to make a video about episode 8 because this is the first episode that like was a decent episode. This is actually like all the other ones were like tolerable to just a waste of time or just offensive. This episode was actually decent. This is actually something you could watch, and it's actually like a TV show. Basically, when I watched this episode, it made me feel like, why the fuck did I watch the other 7? What the fuck was the point of the other 7 episodes? Some important stuff happens in at least 3 of them. I can't deny. But like, what the fuck was the point of any of those? This could have been the first episode. The whole show could have started with this episode. Like nothing really happens in this episode that would be confusing. If it just started out with her already being She-Hulk, she already works at the superhero um law firm or whatever. They could just be she could just introduce us to her life because she breaks the fourth wall all the time. So she could just be like, okay, so I'm the She-Hulk. Um, I go to the law firm and I help superheroes, not just regular people. And whatever. And then she could and then like episode 2 could maybe be a flashback to her origin. Or they could do a flashback to her origin like episode 5. It doesn't really matter. What was the point of this episode being made? Like, what was the point of the other episodes being made? The first 7 are all bullshit. Like, the first episode, they make it seem like she's going to be cool. At first, at the beginning of the episode, it's like, I'm the She-Hulk now. And the Hulk is trying to teach her about Hulk stuff. She's kind of going along with it and kind of not. And then she's just like, you know what? I'm going to leave and go back to my regular life because I can handle anything. I'm better than you. And it was like, okay, we're going to let it pass, whatever. We're going to let it slide. And like, there's no TV show where a man would just straight up tell a woman that she's better than him at dealing with some shit she had to deal with for like, uh, Bruce has been dealing with being the Hulk for over 2 decades probably now. I think he said 15 years in the actual show, but like I don't know. Well, this is crazy. I don't even know what the timeline is in the MCU. But yeah, like he's been the Hulk for a long time. So then she's like, "No, I'm better than you. I know how to do this," and she doesn't even know what is happening to her. But yeah, it's rough. Let me get back on topic. I'm starting to ramble already. Where were we? Um, I don't understand why those episodes were made. So yeah, episode 1. It's like she's halfway in, halfway out. Then she just leaves and goes back to her regular life. And in episode 2, I don't even remember what happened in episode 2. Episode 2 of She-Hulk. What did she do? She comes back, does a normal case as a regular person, and then some random woman with superpowers busts through the wall for no reason. Like she doesn't have any quarrel with the people in the case. They even explained in the episode that she just got mad and busted through the wall and started beating people up that she didn't know. She didn't have any beef with them. So like why Titania, that's her name? Why did she come in there and like fight people in a case that had nothing to do with her? They were just innocent people and she's supposed to be some superhero celebrity that got in trouble for something else that has nothing to do with what Jen was doing. She comes in and does that. And then Jen is like, well, I don't want to lose my job because I reveal my secret that I'm actually the Hulk, She-Hulk. Her friend forces her to be a hero. She does it, stops the girl, and then they go, yeah, we need to fire you because you saved people's lives. And then in the third episode, It doesn't even matter what happened in the third episode. Let's just skip past all that. I'm not going to look back and check to see what exactly happened in each episode. But then episode 6, this is like the most offensive episode I've ever seen in my life of a TV show, because it's supposed to be a women's show, women empowerment, blah, blah, blah. Even though She Hulk wasn't necessarily about that, that was like a small part of what She Hulk's comics were. But like, she's supposed to be empowering women. It's supposed to be a women's show, whatever. And she literally talks about how she hates being She Hulk in every episode. This one episode, she completely does a 180 and then says, I want to be She Hulk and impress all the women at this wedding. And it's her friend's wedding. And it's like a friend that she hasn't talked to in years. So she probably doesn't even really know the other bridesmaids like that. Like, these are women that her friend has probably made friends with over the years after they fell off from each other. So why would you go there and try to impress people you don't really know like that? You know the bride, you know her kind of well. You don't know how she's changed over the years. And yeah, like, she knows your family, so like she invited your, who was it, her cousin? Yeah, I think the DJ guy was her cousin. But like, why would you try to gain all the attention when you're barely even a part of this stuff? It's very strange. So I'm like, this is a terrible episode. And then Titania shows up and is like, I'm actually friends with your old acquaintance that you fell off from too. So I'm here. And she's like, no, you're just probably going to be here to mess with me. And then she's just like, no, I'm just friends with her. And then she is super predictable. We already knew it was going to happen, but she messes with her. And then she turns into She Hulk, basically ruining the wedding. But, this is She Hulk. So for some reason, this isn't going to ruin the wedding, and it didn't really matter. So, like, the whole point of the episode is lost. Like, in the episode, it says, she says, don't turn to the She Hulk at my wedding and promise me that you won't. She says, I promise. Then she does it, and it doesn't ruin the wedding. So what was the point of saying that or doing this? Nothing. Like, none of this stuff matters. This whole episode didn't matter. And she fought Titania for no reason. Titania fought her because Jen stopped her from hurting innocent people. And yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. And I don't know, man. It doesn't even make sense why Titania is so, like, trying to fight the Hulk, She-Hulk for no like, who are you? These two people have nothing to do with each other. Titania and Jen have nothing to do with each other at all. They don't know each other. When they first fought, they had no idea who the other was. So I'm like, that's another reason why this show is just so terrible. Like, and people review this show and say that it's good. There's people out there who say like it's good, or they might say like it's not that bad. And I'm like, I feel like it's not that bad sometimes, but then it's like there's too much stuff in it that's just stupid. So let's get back. That was episode 6 of the dumb wedding. Then episode 7 comes along, and I'm thinking finally this show is gonna do something that makes sense. I'm gonna actually enjoy the show, but and it's kind of more of a more tolerable episode. But yeah, she basically doesn't do anything. She goes to see the abomination, and some dude is like, I have to make sure that he's not turning into the abomination, but I'm scared, so could you come help me? And she does. And after she does, she just kind of is there. She stands around. Then, I mean, the only reason that she stayed, they literally, these people, the people who write in these stories, they do not know what they're doing. So Yeah. I don't want to ramble on about episode 6 and 7 too much. Let's talk about episode 8. So yeah, finally this episode was a decent episode. Like this episode, first off, we finally get Daredevil in it, and he's similar to how he was in the Netflix show. Obviously, he was going to be different, and I mean, when I think the actor himself said like, "I'm gonna be a kind of different character," but the the, the gist of the character is going to be the same. And I'm like, it's the same guy, so like, he's not going to be super different, right? Same actor, so like, he can't be. If they recast, then it probably would have been ridiculous. He would have been goofy, but like, he's an established character too, so like, he can't match that same energy of all these characters in the She-Hulk show. Every character in She-Hulk has this terrible aura of goofiness. They're all just they're like robots that are just disgustingly goofy. Like they just ridiculous. I don't know what's wrong with these. The writers of the show just ruin everything. Like they had a great opportunity to make a good show and they ruined it. The only character who isn't goofy is like Jen, and she's goofy. For the most part, Jen is pretty goofy. Like she always has a dumb smile. She shows those stupid teeth all the time. Like she just looks stupid. I don't know why she's goofy. Like, why is the main character goofy and retarded? Because she acts like she's the straight man of the show, like she's a genius, and everyone else is just bumbling idiots. She even calls a frog dude dumb, but like she acts pretty dumb herself. No one really acts smart in the show. The only one who acted kind of smart was Mallory, but she lets all her biases get the best of her, so that's a weakness in her wit, I guess. Like she Mallory thinks that she's smart, but like if say the only way for her to win something would be to admit that a man could be smart. You know, every episode I see Mallory's the character who comments on how stupid men are or their shortcomings. Right? She cannot compliment a man. She just complains about him. I don't think she said anything positive about a man except for that one guy. She called him an extremely handsome man. That was it. I don't think she complimented a man on anything else. Especially like if a man was smart, there's no way she'd say like, "Oh, that guy over there is smart." And she talks like a robot. Mallory talks like a real robot. Like she just spits out feminist sayings. That's all she does. That's her character. I'm pretty sure at one point she's going to reference the wage gap or something. She's going to be like, women make 70 cents on the dollar of a man. It's just like, what are you talking about? And I wonder, like, did they show her spouse? I wonder if she's even married to a man. She's probably married to a woman. She's like, men are so terrible. And I'm like, it's crazy. But like, I'm gonna go with the positives now. I'm going deep into the negatives. I see a lot of people making reviews, and it's just very negative. So I'm gonna go into some positives. Um, Daredevil actually spoke like a human being, or he spoke like himself. He spoke like himself. Like he didn't. Like I said, everyone talks goofy, especially the dudes. So like Daredevil, compare Daredevil to the Frog guy. The Frog guy sounds like someone's little brother, just like a goofy sidekick, and he just saying some dumb stuff the whole time. He just sounds retarded, like a cartoon character. Especially the fight scene between Daredevil and She-Hulk. You know, he's like, "Ah, my car!" And Daredevil he's cool. Like he knows what he's doing. He's experienced. But even with all the experience, She-Hulk still like she's really arrogant. Very, very arrogant. because she talks to him as if she's an experienced superhero. The way they speak to each other, they're like it's like they're both on the same level. But she's done nothing impressive at all. She hasn't earned any of it. She's just strong like the Hulk. So, and it's kind of ironic because the whole show, she claims to be like, she wants to be this person who earns things by herself, yada, yada, yada. She has a comment about, people going to think that she only got the job because she's She-Hulk and all this. And she did. It's true. She's not even that good of a lawyer. Like Mallory, even the other lawyers in this show about her, the main character being a lawyer, her fellow lawyer in the firm, Mallory, shits on her. Like when you compare Mallory, her practice to Jen's practice being a lawyer, Mallory shits on her. She just takes a big old shit on her. Like she can't compare. Mallory would actually be a good lawyer. Whenever there's cases, Mallory actually helps the client. She-Hulk, she just has plot armor. Like she's just supposed to win because she's the main character. And then it's even crazier when Daredevil comes in. Daredevil doesn't even take 2 seconds to fucking completely obliterate her in the courtroom. Like she loses instantly. He just makes so much sense. He makes too much sense. She-Hulk always just spews a bunch of bullshit in her court cases. She never says anything smart. It's ridiculous. And it's kind of like sad. It's ruining the legacy. Like, why are they doing? It's weird that a woman is writing this. It's kind of ironic that a woman is writing this. She writes She-Hulk just having sex, bunch of sex with dudes. Really weird. That's a weird part too. Like she fucks guys on Tinder. She fucks Josh. She fucks Daredevil. You would think a woman wouldn't like write their main character to do that. You would think that a woman would write her main character to be good at her job, because like she always claims that she's good at her job, but we never find proof of that. Never reflects. Even with the award ceremony, it's kind of like they think that they've done something special by saying, "Oh, women never get the credit they deserve because they gave every woman the award. This award means nothing." But I'm like, She-Hulk. If you watch the show, she actually hasn't done anything to earn an award like that. I don't understand why they would give her the Female Lawyer of the Year award. She didn't do a good job as a lawyer. And Mallory's a better lawyer than she is. I mean, in the show, by the show's logic, when Mallory, the first time Mallory and She-Hulk actually have a conversation about law, She-Hulk, she says that thing where she's like, do people have to copyright their own name or something? Or like copyright their superhero name? And then Mallory has a perfect response to her, like just destroys her. She says Thor and Doctor Strange, and Mallory says those are their names. She-Hulk's not her name, so she would have to copyright it. So it's like the logic of the show is ridiculous. Like, why would She-Hulk even think that, or why would Jennifer Walters think that she's good enough to be a female lawyer of the year when she's not even the best lawyer in the firm she works at? She's not the best female lawyer in the firm she works at. There is a black woman that is a much better lawyer than Jennifer, right? And they're like, all this progressive thinking, it's weird that the females didn't, like Jennifer is a white woman who's shitty at her job, does a shitty job at her job, super unprofessional, and there's a black woman who is professional, competent, she's better than Jen at least. Like, even if you said she's not as good as I'm saying she is, Mallory is better at being a lawyer than Jen, but they think that this white woman, like, it's crazy. It's really weird. And they think they're progressive. Another thing that was kind of weird was how Daredevil and She-Hulk kind of get together quick, don't you think? Like, she just went through all that stuff with Josh. That's another reason to question why did they even make the first 7 episodes. She just went through all this stuff with Josh, and now she's gonna go after Daredevil. or Matt Murdock. You know, it's just like she just keeps having sex with people and wondering why she just she has no good luck. She literally has sex with Daredevil. Like she met him that day. They just met. Eh, It's only this whole episode's in one day, right? Pretty sure. So like it's crazy. Just imagine that. And then this guy, they're making Daredevil act like he's in love with Jen. This is kind of out of character. Like in a Netflix show, I don't think he would just fall in love with a woman that quick. Especially when he had other women that he was interested in. I don't really remember that well where Matt and Karen were left off on. Pretty sure Matt and Karen are still a thing. They're on and off again, maybe at best, but like I'm pretty sure Karen and Matt are gonna do a thing together. I'm pretty sure she wants to be with him. He wants to be with her, type thing, kinda. Um, and if he doesn't want to be with Karen, like I think that he wouldn't go after another girl to. He wouldn't ignore Karen to be with a different girl unless it was maybe Elektra, because I'm pretty sure him and Elektra were like really, really tight. Like he really had. She was in his heart. So like that's the number one girl that he would like ignore Karen for. So it's weird that he just met this chick and now it seems like he's actually trying to develop a relationship with her. And I'm like, he's gonna be. I've heard that he's going to be on two other TV shows. So like, what's the point of tying him so deeply into She-Hulk? I don't want him to come back to the show. I think he should have just came on here. Maybe he'll return and be an ally. But I don't think they should date because then he's really gonna be a part of the show. Also, he doesn't really fit into the show. Like, sure, he was a little more charming in this. He was a little bit more jokey, but Daredevil should be serious. I mean, that's just a bigger problem with the MCU because I don't want um, everything to be a joke. Like they bring back Wolverine, and Wolverine is not a joke. He never was, and he'll never will be. Even in the X-Men movies, like all the other characters could joke around, but Wolverine wasn't the type to be goofy. He might make a joke at someone else's expense or something, or he might say something that he thinks is funny, but he's not going to be out here making goofy sounds or something so that the kids will laugh. That's not the type of character he is. So I'm like, I don't, and Matt Murdock shouldn't be doing that either. Like he's Daredevil is a serious character. He deals with serious subject matter. He fights people that actually want to kill him, stuff like that. He's not indestructible. He's a human being. If bullets go through his body, he bleeds to death. So I'm like, he shouldn't be joking around. It's just no, don't do that. And it's kind of weird. Didn't bring this up, but like the suit designer from this show is now his suit designer. I think that's weird. They kind of dropped the ball on that. Also, why did he get a suit designer all the way out in California? So, I mean, I could let it go, but I kind of don't want to because he lives in DC. He lives in New York. So I really think they should have just kept his suit maker in New York. Um, Maybe he could come out to California for a different reason. I don't know. Just weird that he came out to where they at Los Angeles. That's so far away from New York too. Literally on the opposite side. So yeah, it is what it is though. But yeah, it is what it is. And we'll talk about the fight scene real quick. The fight scene, I've seen a lot of videos already on this. Of course, both characters are CGI. They're not the actual characters. She-Hulk is always in CGI, but they put Daredevil in CGI this time, and I get it. Completely understand why Disney would do that because the MCU was always more comic booky than any other company like Netflix, Fox, Universal. They never went as far as the MCU. And Daredevil, he's a human being in the comic books, but like in the comic books, they had comic book logic. So like even human beings like did shit that you can't do. Like Daredevil could move in a way that the most athletic human being couldn't, right? So I mean, I understand why he's like CGI to move around She-Hulk and stuff, and the way he's moving and stuff. But which is not that bad. I don't think the CGI is terrible. It's probably better, than most of the other episodes. They probably spent a little bit more on this. But it was what it was. I mean, obviously, She-Hulk, the action in She-Hulk is never good. They haven't had one good action scene in this whole show, but it was entertaining. I'll tell you that. I was entertained, and I thought that he was going to actually outmaneuver She-Hulk. I wish he did, because the fact that he couldn't kind of was, I don't know. I don't want to say he's unrealistic because he's not enhanced. He's not an enhanced human being. So he doesn't have the agility and speed and power of Captain America. So I could give him that. I could understand why She-Hulk could capture Daredevil because she's a Hulk. So that's like unfair. Daredevil is actually a street level hero. He's not like Spider-Man, who Spider-Man is as strong as like Superman or something. Not as strong as Superman, but like he's superhuman strength. Like he's stronger than Captain America, but he just fights street level because he wants to. Daredevil is not the type of hero that could go and fight Abomination. He can't fight him at all. He couldn't do anything to Abomination. So I understand why She-Hulk kind of had an easier time grabbing him, taking his mask off, because it's like a regular guy who was in shape. I don't even think Daredevil is like Batman level. Batman is ridiculous. Like Batman is not a he's not an enhanced human, so like he has the peak human conditioning, like not even the peak human conditioning, the best a human being can do. Not the best a human being has done, but like the best we could be. Batman has reached his full potential. Daredevil is not that type of character either. I don't think he's as strong as Batman. I don't know how many people would disagree with that, but I think that's fair to say. Daredevil's not that strong, so like he couldn't do all that. Even if he's acrobatic, She Hulk is a Hulk, so she has a lot of stamina too. So like she wouldn't get tired. She would eventually tire him out. The last thing that I had to bring up was the end of the episode, which kind of was like it was all right, you know. It was weird. Her breaking of the fourth wall at the end when she was like, "Wait, is this the last episode before the season finale?" It's kind of like unnecessary. Like, was that supposed to be funny or clever? Like, they really got to think of better dialogue for breaking the fourth wall. Their breaking the fourth wall dialogue isn't that good. And then, obviously, the intelligentsia comes back into play, which I feel like, I mean, they should have made that a bigger um thing in the show. Like the 7 episodes should have had intelligentsia stuff like going on in the background or something. We should got little snippets of that. And then like, what are they gonna do in the last episode? Because it's like we get it, but like, what does that mean? No one cares about that plot line anyway. For real, for real. I don't know why people even watch the show, but yeah, it comes back into play, and she during her speech, she they play her video of her having sex with the dude, and they're like calling her a slut and all this, and it's very much like whoever wrote this doesn't really understand men. First off, this whole show is just every time they do stuff like that, it's just like complaining about a man. When it's like, I'm a man, I'm watching this show. My life is not constantly shitting on women. and saying they're sluts or anything. I'm like, I'm trying to watch this show. If it was good, I wouldn't. I don't even. I'm still not. I'm not like. I'm not thinking like this writer is a woman, so she's a slut. But they constantly make little scenes where it's like all the men are going to say that She-Hulk is bad because it's a woman and blah blah blah. So it's like basically that. It's just a bunch of clips of men on Reddit and Tumblr and all this saying, "Oh, She-Hulk sucks. Female bad. Men hate women." Obviously, didn't you know? But it's like, no, I'm watching this and I'm like, this is retarded. Every time something like that shows up, it's retarded. Stop putting that in your show. Just make a good show or make it about something, right? Let me see the plot. I don't want to see like what you think your fans think of you. And I will say it was cool that like this makes her mad in universe. I don't know why this would make her mad necessarily. The sex tape thing though, yeah, I could get that. So yeah, there's a reason why she's mad. So she freaks out. She kind of like really freaks out. So, and I think it's cool. I don't think it's like a second personality. It's more like if you just got really mad, you would forget where you're at type. I forgot where I was at for a minute type anger. But she's a Hulk, so it's like worse because like she could actually fuck some shit up getting that mad. So it looks like people are scared of her now. And I didn't think that what the Hulk said in the beginning of the show was foreshadowment. I thought it was just some bullshit he was saying, like, "Oh, you got to control your anger, Jen. As soon as they see you as a monster, it's hard to get rid of that view or whatever." So I'm like, yeah. I mean, I hope that that comes into play too. Like, that would actually make it a good show that she has consequences to her actions and stuff. Because at first they were like, "Oh, this is gonna be a comedy slice of life," and it could have been that. The show could have easily been a comedy slice of life. But then, like the whole complaining about like how men shit on women, which they don't. Women don't get as much flack as they like you to believe in the show. All these little like comments, like no man is doing all that. No one's doing all that to you. You know what I mean? But I mean, yeah. So I mean, if they really do like make consequences for her, and she like they see her as a monster, I don't know if they're gonna like actually do anything about it. For real, I feel like they're gonna ignore it. Like it's not gonna be a problem. Like they're making it seem like a problem. Like what are they gonna do? Set up the Sokovia Accords again? I feel like they're not gonna do that. So like there's not gonna be really any consequence to it. But I mean I got hope. You can always hope. So yeah, let me know what you think of this episode. Let me know if you want to see another video like this. If you like it, subscribe, give me a like, and have a great day, y'all. Peace.